Hello and welcome. My name is Michelle Garrett and I'm a Professor of Cancer Therapeutics in the School of Biosciences at the University of Kent. And I'm here today to talk to you about the MSc programme in Cancer Biology and Therapeutics and to show you the course structure. And so now I'd like to share some slides with you. So as well as being a professor in cancer therapeutics here in the School of Biosciences, I'm also the programme director for the MSc in cancer biology and therapeutics. And before I tell you about the programme, I'd first of all like to introduce some of my colleagues who, like myself, teach on the programme. So first of all, here is Tim Fenton. So Tim combines wet lab and computational biology expertise to focus on research on the human papillomavirus and its role in oncogenesis as a model of tumour development. And he's also very interested in a class of enzymes known as the ApoBec enzymes. Next is Professor Dan Lloyd. So Dan's research is focused on looking at DNA damage and repair pathways in human cancer and their role in the development of the disease itself, and also exploiting them for the treatment of cancer. Martin's interests, Professor Martin Michaelis' interests, lie in looking at cancer drug resistance and the mechanisms that drive this. And finally, Mark Vass, who's a reader in computational biology, and his interests focus on developing novel methods for the analysis of large data sets, and then utilising those methods for looking at key research questions, including investigating mechanisms of drug resistance. So now I'd like to move on to the course structure. So the course runs over 3 terms: autumn, spring, and summer. It can be taken 2 ways, and that is first of all as a 1-year course, but also part-time as a 2-year course. The requirements for the MSc Cancer Biology and Therapeutics are to have a 2:1 degree in a biomedically related subject, including medicine, but we'll also look at people and their qualifications on an individual basis. So if you have additional training and an additional degree or experience in the field of biomedical science, then we'll also take that into consideration. The course is delivered as a series of lectures and seminars, discussion groups, and also lab-based work. For the autumn term, there are 2 30-credit modules as shown here at the top. And these are Science at Work, which focuses on the communication and also the ethics of science. The second one is Practical and Applied Research Skills, and involves quite a large amount of practical work, including a project on genome editing, and there is another video on this. In the spring term, we focus on aspects of cancer, and this includes the biology of cancer, which is BI-837 and also BI-838. We have a module on cancer therapeutics from the laboratory to the clinic, and I will talk a little more on that in a minute. And we also have a module in cancer research in focus. And this is really to develop your understanding, thinking, and also analytical skills so that we can fully embed you in the culture of cancer research. And in the final term, in the summer, there's a 60-credit module, which is the research project. And I will also give you a little more information on that. So BI-840. So this is a module that takes you all the way through cancer therapeutics from the laboratory to the clinic. The aim is really to provide you with critical perspectives upon current and emerging cancer therapies and how they can be applied in a clinical setting. So we look at the history of cancer drug discovery and development and how it's changed over the last 100 years and all the way up to new immunotherapies. And it's delivered through a series of seminars and interactive discussions with internationally recognized cancer researchers and clinicians. And here are some examples on the right-hand side. There's Karina Cox, who's a breast cancer surgeon and also a clinical cancer researcher. So she's very interested in the development of new contrast agents for analysis of the sentinel node biopsy in breast cancer. Next, we have Professor John Schofield, who's a clinical pathologist, and he has research interests in colorectal cancer. And finally, we have Dr. Catherine Harper-Wynn, who's a consultant medical oncologist, and she's focused on breast cancer research and is running clinical trials both nationally and internationally on breast cancer. So now I'd like to give you some information about the summer research project. So that's the 60 credit module in the summer term. So this module gives you the opportunity to really experience independent cancer research based in an academic research laboratory like mine or one of my other colleagues. And there's a picture on the right-hand side you can see at the top, which shows some of our research lab facilities. These projects are supervised by myself and my colleagues. So you could have me as a supervisor or Dr. Tim Fenton, for example. And so the research is undertaken within the research laboratories. And these projects are individual. They're also novel research. And you can choose a wet lab project, so be in the lab as shown at the top. You could choose a dry lab computational project that might be supervised by Mark Vass or Tim Fenton. Or if you don't like either of these two options, there's the opportunity to do a dissertation on a research topic in the literature. We have weekly project meetings where you will talk about progress on your project. And also the aim is to produce, for you to produce, publication quality data. And one of the outputs that we've had from this was the publication of a study on cancer drug resistance that came out in PLOS ONE. And this research was undertaken by a group of the MSc students from the Cancer Biology and Therapeutics program. And you can see the article on the left-hand side here and the students that undertook the research on the right-hand side. So I hope I've given you some relevant information about the program. And now I just want to talk a little bit about career destinations. So many of our students go on to work in the biomedical field. Some examples are shown here, where they're working as research assistants in laboratories, both in academia and industry. Many of our students decide to pursue academia further in education and undertake PhDs in a number of subjects, cancer and also in related fields, for example here, immunopathology at the University of Milan. Also, having an MSc in Cancer Biology and Therapeutics allows you to expand your horizon and work in allied fields. So here we show an example of a clinical trials coordinator, or even further afield, where still your MSc in Cancer Biology and Therapeutics will provide you with strength and employability. So a sales manager in life technologies, or another example is an intellectual property consultant. So now I'd just like to thank you for your attention. And for more information, please go to the web link shown here. Also here are 2 links to Think Kent videos that myself and Professor Dan Lloyd have recorded. And these are on topics on cancer research and drug development. And if you have any further inquiries, please email the address at the bottom of this slide. And I'd just like to say thank you again. And I hope that this small video has given you an insight into our program and that you found it interesting. And I hope that we may see you in September. Thank you very much.